Good Friday morning. I'm Matt Carothers, and welcome to another installment of everyone's favorite 30-minute horse racing program. That is right. It is time for Blinkers Off. Roll up your sleeve, folks. We have an action-packed 30 minutes. We got buzz in the biz. My man, Ray Paulick, Paulick Report. He'll join me in just a moment. And Kentucky Derby, number 138. We're just 8 days away. And one of the elite clockers in the game, Toby Turrell, West Coast clocker right now in Kentucky. We'll talk about many of the contenders, how they're training leading up to the Kentucky Derby, and he'll focus on the West Coast horses, creative cause. I'll have another, I believe, in particular. And, yes, opening weekend, Betfair Hollywood Park, opening weekend at Belmont, Gold Rush Day, Saturday. We're all over it. And the feature from Belmont on Saturday, the Westchester. I can't do it alone. I have plenty of help over the next 30 minutes. Tremendous producer-director tandem as well in terms of Deb and Danielle. But right now, again, a man whom, I don't know, he kind of has the Pat Riley thing going today. He has a slicked back do. He is my man, purveyor of the Paulick Report, Bzzz, the world's largest honeybee from Lexington, Kentucky, Ray Paulick. Right, I like the Gordon Dekko hair. I do.
The Barry Melrose. It's the the hockey guy look.
Do you have the ponytail? I think Barry has a lot of hair in the back.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet. We're working on that.
Okay, all right. We have a lot.
Your hair looks good too, by the way. Always does.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a given. We have a lot. There's a lot of buzz in the biz this week.
There's a lot going on.
Seems like, all right, tell me about this. This is kind of over my head. I was a poli-sci major, but this congressional hearing that's going to take place on Monday that could lead to Congress enacting federal legislation to ban race day medication for horses. What's this all about?
Right. Well, look, it's not going to happen this year. This is an election year. Nothing happens during election years in Congress, as we all know. So it's a dog and pony show.
Nothing happens in non-election years, right?
Well, that's true. It's a dog and pony show on Monday in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, just down the road from New Bolton Center. They're going to have a hearing with people basically saying, we need to get rid of drugs in horse racing.
Right.
And there's already a bill was introduced a year ago by Ed Whitfield of Kentucky and Senator Udall of New Mexico that would eliminate all drugs in horses on race day. And the interpretation there is, when do you have to eliminate it? Can you train a horse on it, or is it no drugs at all? So that's one of the questions people are asking. It would also impose very strict penalties for anybody that violates the rules. And it would require testing labs to be internationally accredited. So it's not a horrible law. The basic problem is, how do you interpret what drug-free racing is?
There's a lot of weight behind this too. Right? There's some huge people in racing that are going to be at this hearing, aren't there?
Yeah, well, George Strawbridge is a member of the Jockey Club. He was the honor guest of the Thoroughbred Club last year, big owner breeder.
Yes.
Arthur and Stacy Hancock are behind us. There's a number of people, over 400 people have actually signed a letter or a petition supporting some sort of federal intervention. So it's not just a few people out there saying this is what we need. There's a lot of momentum behind it, but again, nothing is going to happen this year. This hearing on Monday is a little bit like
show.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like the reproductive hearing for women's rights a few weeks ago, where they had all men talking about it. So this is, you're not going to get two sides of the story here, just one side.
Yeah, I'm never political on this show, but that wasn't one of the brighter moments for the Republicans. As we move on, OBS sale, is it over with, the OBS sale?
Yeah, it ended yesterday.
And what did I read? That the average price rose nearly 50%, 49.5% on day 3, and there were more six-figure horses, I think 17, on day 3 sales, opposed to 11 in 2011. So that's good news.
It is good news. I think what we're starting to see is the New York factor. Owners in New York are saying, we need better horses up here if we're going to run for these big purses. And Gary Contest is a good example of a trainer that was down there. He bought 10 horses. It's a very good sign that people in New York are buying better horses, not just there, but there's other places around the country where purses are up and things are looking good.
Okay, and kind of to follow up on that, our next story, also good news for racing. Handle at Aqueduct, way up, and let's see, Handle in 2011, $419 million. At their current meeting just ended, $514 million, up 22.6%. Of course, there were more days of racing, 78 versus 73. But I look at all these numbers, and to me, it all comes down to how good is your product. And, you know, many more turf races, and the turf races people enjoy playing, 50 at the 2012 meeting, only 23 in 2011. But it all gets down to average betting interests. 6.4 in 2011, 7.48. Average betting interest up more than 1 horse per race. That's why people are betting. They bet if the product's good. Product's not good if they're running 6-horse fields.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a continuation of that at Belmont Park. It's going to be better racing. It's going to be bigger fields. It's going to be a better betting product, and we're going to see increases at Belmont Park, too. So this is another area of good news, spawned largely by the purse increases.
Okay, our last buzz in the biz will be about Marge Everett, former chairman, president, and CEO at Hollywood Park for a long time. I think she began her reign at Hollywood Park back in 1972 through 1991. She passed away last month at the age of 90, and I guess the Milady handicap now at Betfair Hollywood Park on Saturday the 19th of May is going to be changed to the Marjorie L. Everett handicap. And she was a total innovator, you know, a powerful woman in a man's game that, you know, I think is the first one to implement night racing and brought the Pick Six to Southern California and giveaways. You know, let's get folks to come out to the racetrack. We'll give them a T-shirt. We'll give them a sweatshirt. We'll give them a towel. And she also was instrumental, wasn't she, in bringing the initial Breeders' Cup back in 1984 to Hollywood Park.
Absolutely. She was an innovator. She was a pioneer. She was a very tough woman and very perceptive. She brought
what a great
the
race this was, Ray.
Oh yeah, this was
Vince Timpany, Wild again.
Yeah, yeah. This is an oldie but goodie. Pat Day on the rail.
Yep.
Yeah. She convinced the Breeders' Cup to come to Hollywood Park in large part because in her presentation she had to meet her at a very high-end Beverly Hills bistro.
Right.
And when the Breeders' Cup committee members showed up, there was John Forsythe, there was Linda Evans, there were all these Hollywood stars.
Joan Collins, too, right? Joan Collins, the whole
Joan
cast
Collins
of Dynasty.
Right,
right, yeah.
Right. And these were all good friends of Marge
Dynasty.
Everett. And on opening day, or on the first Breeders' Cup, all those people and more came out. The stars were there. It was a big show. And I think Marge Everett deserves a lot of credit for the Breeders' Cup getting off to such a big start back in 1984, and I think it's very appropriate they named this race after her.
And I never knew her, but I've heard a lot of stories about her, a lot of anecdotal stories, and you have one, don't you, that pertains to Marge Everett?
Well, I had a job interview with her one time, and I tell you what, she scared me. She was tough, and I didn't get the job. And in a way, I'm kind of glad because it would have been a career change for me to go into racetrack work instead of staying on the journalism side. I was working at the Racing Forum in Los Angeles at the time. But she was tough. You'd see her wandering around that racetrack.
She was very hands-on, right? She was very hands-on.
Yeah. If they needed more mutual clerks, she'd get on her walkie-talkie and yell at somebody to get in more mutual clerks. She'd, make sure there was enough food and beverages at every place. People even saw her weeding the garden there now and then. If she saw some weeds she didn't like, she would just bend over and pick them up. So she was hands-on. She was a legend, really, in Southern California. Yeah,
she loved the game. She cared deeply, and she really cared for the equine athletes, and she cared for the human athletes as well, the riders. I read that if a rider got injured, she was right there. She actually might be go in the ambulance to the hospital with that particular rider. So she was tough, but she had a huge heart. And it's cool that Betfair Hollywood Park now, the Milady on the 19th of May, has become the Marjorie L. Everett. Again, Ray Paulick, PaulickReport.com. Ray, busy week in terms of buzz. Appreciate the insight as always, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Matt.
Ray Paulick joining us.
Okay.
Good stuff. Good stuff as always. When you talk to my man. I like the slick back hair. I know for a fact that Ray was a Dallas guy, though. He was a Dallas guy. He wasn't a Dynasty guy. Time for a commercial timeout. When we come back, so much more on Blinkers Off. Oh, we got an exciting new segment coming up in a second that I didn't tease at the top of the show. But let's go back in time. How did Rich Perloff and Todd Schrupp fare when I was in Altoona, Iowa last week? A patch attack, tack, giving me a patch attack winner. Summer Front. Todd won 8-1 shot, didn't fare particularly well. Jesse, now Jerome. Scratch, 4-1 fifth. Oh, Jungle Love. Oh, no, why do I have to show that when I didn't even give selections for last week? That's just wrong. That's just wrong. All right, this is a news segment. It's really not a news segment. My entire life, I've been taking on the world. It's kind of been me against everybody else. That's just the way that I am. I'm kind of Clint Eastwood-like. Oh, I take on the world. I'll be taking on a different fan every week. Oh, look at me flirting with the world right now. That's what I'll be doing. Oh, and I'm very pleased to open up this segment. The guy that I know fairly well, I've got to know over the last couple of years. I'm not going to give out his last name. That's a little bit too much information. But my man, Rich G from Connecticut, is going to take me on. We'll keep track of our ROI just with the play of the day, me versus a different fan every week. Rich, it's all you, and the clock is on. Give me your play of the day for Saturday.
Okay, it's going to be race 5 at Belmont Park.
Okay, good.
Six furlong sprint, and I'm going to go with the number 6 horse, Lieutenant John.
Number 6, Lieutenant. Give me one reason why you like Lieutenant John.
Well, I like him. The field is a very weak field. This horse does have some physical problems. I think they finally figured it out, and he's cutting back from mile to 6 furlongs. And I like the fact that Johnny V is staying with the horse. He rode him down in Gulfstream, but I'm hoping he could lay a little bit off the pace, and because there's going to be a hot favorite here. One of the Rice's horse will be about 8 to 5. So I'm looking at about 8 to 10 to 1 on this horse.
All right, Rich, representing everybody else, the world versus me. Good luck with your selection. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. Maybe I'm pulling for Rich, not only because I like Rich. I want you guys to be right. I want to be right, obviously. How about we do a pick 3? We use Rich's horse in race number 5. I like a horse in the 7th at Belmont. The 2 didn't take it. A Jane Sabelli horse. She claimed the horse 2 starts back, won a little stake race at Tampa, ran second to a 4 to 5 favorite for Todd Pletcher. I know a little bit of a second-itis horse who's been second 3 times in a row. I like the blinkers off. I like the cutback from a mile and a 16th to a mile. And I like the horse, the second place effort to a horse who has some ability for Pletcher, who was an odds-on favorite in the race at Tampa. 8 to 1 morning line. I think you'll get that prize because people will be a little snobby when it comes to betting a horse coming from Tampa at Belmont Park, race number 7. I like the 2, didn't take it, 8 to 1 morning line. So me versus the world. We got a little buzz in the biz. And now, more nuts and bolts. We're 8 days away from Kentucky Derby number 138. He's one of the most respected clockers in the game, and he's been one for a number of years. Toby Turrell joining me right now. Oh, there, wow, talk about hip from Keeneland right now. Wow, is that a pink shirt and a black jacket?
Well, is that enough of the remnants of SoCal for us here? I mean, do I look cool?
Wow, Rico Suave, look at you right now. Okay, we're gonna talk Derby right now. You've been at Churchill, right? You're at Keeneland now, but you just drove to Lexington from Louisville. How long have you been at Churchill?
I got there Tuesday morning. I was there and I've seen everything since Tuesday morning until right now.
Okay, so what has stood out for you since you've been at Churchill on Tuesday, watching these horses? And I know a couple of the Southern California horses we'll get to in a minute. Creative Cause and I'll have another. They ship to Churchill Downs, I believe, tomorrow. What have you seen thus far? What's impressed you?
Well, the big work. I got here just in time, Matt, because Bodemeister worked on Tuesday morning, and that was the big work that everybody wanted to see, and I got to see it live, and it was a very strong work. Now, you know, the word on the street back here from everybody is that his work was nice, but they say, wait till you watch him gallop. He doesn't gallop so, really strong these days.
Okay.
I saw him gallop today, and I kind of have a little idea what these guys were talking about back here.
Okay.
He took a little while to get into a nice fluent stride.
Interesting.
At this stage of the game, I think you want to hit that stride, right away. So I'll be watching him very closely every day, now right up to maybe his next little breeze.
I'm actually not one of these people, but I've heard people kind of criticize Mike Smith a little bit for getting a little too busy on Bodemeister at the end of that race. What do you think about that? The Arkansas Derby.
I think that was just an armchair deal. I mean, all he had to do was hold on, from what I could see.
I'm with you.
It was simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. I know Liaison's another horse that Baffert was not going to run in the Kentucky Derby, and then I guess he had a recent workout, and Bob went, "Wow, I got to give this horse a chance." What do you know about that workout?
if I looked at my clock, I'd say wow. I mean, 112-4 here at Churchill is pretty. You could say wow to that. But if you put the camera on the horse and watch what you try to watch for as a clocker every day, he was under some pressure to do that. So we'll see. I think the book's out there.
Well, he's going to be a massive price, and we're showing his last win, and it was a while ago, Toby. It was 1, 2, 3, 4+ months ago in the Grade 1 Cash Call Futurity with Rafael Bejarano aboard. He's going to be a number. Union Rags, it's going to be real close, I think, as to whom is your post-time favorite. Union Rags or Bodemeister, one of those two. I know Union Rags schooled at Keeneland a couple of days ago, Wednesday, I think early on in the card. How do you think Union Rags is coming into the Derby?
Well, I got the answer to that literally about an hour and a half ago, Matt.
Oh, wow. Good. This is kind of breaking info
Yeah. Hour and a half ago, I can guarantee everybody out there now.
Guaranteeing. I love it.
Guarantee Union Rags is on tilt. Simple as that.
Really? On
yes, he
tilt?
Is. Yes.
When you make a statement like that about a horse that could be your favorite in the Derby, you need to expound upon. I mean, tell me why. Don't just throw me a grenade. Throw me a grenade with some information attached.
Well, I've been to the live Derby 3 years and counting, and when horses first come on the track, when they take that first few strides and you see whether they're like leaping over the ground or just kind of, getting over the ground, that, Big Brown, I'm going to call it the Big Brown factor. When he showed up on the track, I could name that tune in 5 strides with Big Brown. I mean, boom. Union Rags, 5 strides, boom.
Well, thanks, Jim Lang. Okay. Wow. Well, that's so Union Rags is a toss as far as you're concerned. That is huge. I think the West Coast 3-year-olds are the best 3-year-olds, and Bodemeister is a West Coast 3-year-old, even though he's won the Arkansas Derby. Creative Cause, I'll have another. They both, as I mentioned, go to Churchill Downs tomorrow. It seems to me like with Creative Cause, everybody I talk to, Toby, who's a good player, who knows what they're talking about, he's their long shot horse. I kind of like this horse as well, but to me, he might be too much of a wise guy horse. And we're showing the Sandia Derby, which I'll have another beat him. And what a training job Doug O'Neill has done with I'll have another. You think Creative, have you heard about people that you respect their opinion that tell you that Creative Cause is their price horse in the Derby?
Yeah, but that's just it, though, Matt. They're saying that he's their price horse. I believe he's not going to get bet. All the buzz back here, you don't hear his name in the top 5, 6 when people are talking. So I loved what he did in the Santa Anita Derby. He showed all the professionalism, You
like the blinkers off? You like that move Mike Harrington made?
I liked what he did once the blinkers came off, yes, for sure.
All right, Toby Turrell at Keeneland right now. He's been at Churchill, which is about, an hour and a half drive from Keeneland, and some big information an hour and a half ago. He's given a big no to Union Rags. It's going to be your favorite or your second choice in Derby 138 a week from tomorrow. You can do some handicapping with me as well. Obviously, you're so familiar with the racing out here in Southern California. Betfair Hollywood Park, Gold Rush Day, one of my favorite days of the entire meeting, Toby, because you have big fields. It's sort of a Breeders' Cup format for California breds. And we'll begin with our Spotlight race, $300,000, mile and 1/8 in the Snow Chief. And what makes this race difficult, Toby, is the fact that you have a lot of speed and you have a 9-furlong race in which it looks like most of these horses can't get the distance probably, right?
Well, that's why I'm going with the 3 that I think can. I think you are right on the key to the race. By the way, you didn't say a big no on Union Rags, did you?
Well, that's what you said.
It's a big yes. It's a big yes on Union Rags.
Oh, it's a big yes on Union Rags.
I better start talking in like more simple terms.
Okay, I thought when you were on tilt, that was a negative.
On tilt is a big time. When I put the word tilt on, just so you know, let's just run to the window together.
I was used to Todd Schrupp telling me he's on tilt, and that's not good.
As
a player.
We better check our notes.
Okay. So a big yes to Union Rags.
Yes.
Okay. Similar to what Big Brown before he won the Kentucky Derby. Okay.
Right.
Likes Union Rags. Okay.
Yes.
And in the $300,000 Snow Chief, you like?
I like Unusual Heat Wave. I like Dylan Donnelly. Dylan Donnelly, and Corner Office. I believe you got to use at least 3 horses here because, like you said, one of them's got to prove that they can get the distance.
I'm going to go with Benchlight. You know, I like this horse's win on synthetic at Golden Gate. A couple of starts back. I throw out the 6.5 furlong Echo Eddie over dirt. 12-1 in a wide open race. Jose Valdivia aboard. We move to the Malaire, mile and an eighth, $300,000 event for fillies. And I guess we'll start with the 4, Willoughby Awesome. Yeah, she won the Santa Anita Oaks, and obviously it's a much better race, a grade 1, Toby. But how good are the elite 3-year-old fillies in Southern California? We know the elite 3-year-old colts are good. What about the fillies?
Well, I think they're up there. In fact, Eden, I can tell you that Eden's Moon has looked as good as anybody here at Churchill Downs. She looks great. And the fact that Willoughby Awesome beat her, to me, just puts her in the elite class far and away as far as this race goes, the Malaire.
Okay, I'm going to go with Unusual Hottie, another price runner. John Sadler, your trainer, a runner that ran second to Bodie Girl. They got an easy lead for Pipey. Got away with a 47.4 half mile, going a mile on the turf. I will go with Unusual Hottie, who is 2 for 4, pulled an upset 2 starts back. Hopefully she can do it in the Malaire. Your last order of business before I excuse you is the Be Thoughtful $125,000 event. Race 3, Betfair Hollywood on Saturday, 7.5 furlongs. And everyone in this race, Toby, is between 3-1 and 6-1 morning line. That's how crazy, competitive this race is. This will be, this is really, really hard to separate some of these horses.
I agree. I think it's you got to pick one, and I'm going to go with a filly that's always been a big favorite of mine. Her name is Camille C. I just love this filly. She's just a little athlete. She's a little light-made, nimble horse. It's just so athletic, and I know she'll show up. She's ready to go. This is her 3rd start off the layoff, and I believe she's really ready here for this race.
I like the 2 going for a spin, 6-1. I like the fact Mitchell lost this filly 2 starts back. He claims her back, obviously, for this race, $125,000 stake race on Gold Rush Day. So Mitchell claims back. Speed at a mile and an eighth, and got the lead, 46-1 for the half mile, going 9 furlongs. I like the cut back to 7.5 as well. And a filly that's had success over the cushion track at Betfair Hollywood. I like going for a spin. Toby, sorry for the confusion. So Union Rags, so you're saying right now that you're not guaranteeing a win, but you're guaranteeing that Union Rags is going to show up and give a great account of himself.
Yes, I am. In fact, we'll know a lot more when he works out tomorrow, hopefully, if it doesn't rain. But you know what, Matt? When horses gallop like Union Rags gallop in fantastic fashion like he did today, the workout's just an afterthought. I guarantee you he'll work big, too. Guaranteed. All
right, well, I really appreciate you making the hour-and-a-half commute from Louisville to Lexington to help us out on Blinkers Off. Thanks for your outstanding insight, Toby Turrell.
That was a rough drive, and this is a rough place to be here at Keeneland, where basically I'm just ready to go get in with this loud party that's already started.
Closing day at Keeneland. Enjoy yourself, have a cocktail, and it looks like it's a beautiful weather day in Lexington as well. Toby Turrell.
Will do.
Good stuff. Good stuff. A couple of minutes left in the program. I always thought when Todd told me he was on tilt, that was bad. I always thought that was bad. Westchester, grade 3 at Belmont. Opening day, Belmont is today. I love this meeting. And the weather is going to be cooperative. I know this weekend at least. That's the forecast. And you get some heavy hitters at Belmont Park going a mile in the Westchester. How about To Honor and Serve? How about Boys at Toscanova? Boys at Toscanova, 5 for 8 lifetime, $658,000, has won 3 in a row. Rick Dutrow off a 3-month layoff with the 1. To Honor and Serve, horse that's made over $1 million, 6 for 11 in his career. Hasn't raced in 5 months since winning the Cigar Mile at Aqueduct in 33-4. I'm going to literally gamble that To Honor and Serve needs the race, and that Boys at Toscanova maybe has been beating up on just kind of so-so opposition. Maryland's guy will find out how good this horse is. He makes his 3rd start off an 11-month layoff, does the 5. It's Tony Dutrow. He just won the Excelsior. This horse wins close races. He wins this race by a neck over San Pablo, a Todd Pletcher horse, who he also beat by a nose back on the 18th of February. 9 for 25 lifetime, turns back from a mile and eighth to a mile. There's speed everywhere. This horse is in great form. I like the cutback. The only thing, we'll find out if Maryland's guy is good enough. But again, if I'm right, I will get paid. He's 6-1 on the line. We are done with the show. We want to hear from you. If you want to be part of taking me on, you as the world, me as me, please email us at blinkersoff@tvg.com. And I'd like to thank Rich G for calling in. I'd like to thank Toby Turrell and my man Ray Paulick. Next week, May 4th, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, the Kentucky Derby edition of Blinkers Off. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time.